Take a look at this dress, ladies. Yes, remember that you've got one. I can tell. You have as well, sir. Yes. Pulling your leg, of course. But this dress really did launch a career. The Versace safety pin dress. Do you remember that? At the premiere of Four Weddings and a Funeral. Incredible when you think about it, because this was the look that launched Elizabeth Hurley. Yes, I've met Elizabeth Hurley on a number of occasions. She's even more regal than members of the royal family. Yeah, very strange. And of course, some might suggest a lady who's advanced herself incredibly well without really much concrete acting work. I mean, who can remember any of her movies? I remember, of course, her being in Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery, and seemingly could handle a comic turn very cleverly, of course. But other than that, really what? Well, it was this dress, as I say, that really launched her, alongside her then boyfriend, Hugh Grant, who I was lucky enough to meet and interview on a number of occasions. Hugh can be incredibly grumpy or incredibly nice, depending on which day you get him and whether you decide to smear him with charm or not. But Liz Hurley, you see, clearly has come from the Meghan Markle school of thought process, because apparently, according to her, things were totally different regarding how she landed this particular Versace dress. Now, this dress, as I say, is just more than a fashion statement, more than a film premiere, because this helped her get the Elizabeth Arden contract and literally put her on the path to international recognition, if not necessarily fame for anything substantial. What's interesting also is the designer, the personal shopper at Selfridges, has recently just come out, Dean Aslett. I've been lucky enough to meet him once or twice, nice guy, and told the true story behind this dress. And it all stems down to this. Hi, how are you? Nice to see you. Thank you so much for joining me. Fashion's a funny thing, isn't it? Do you look at pictures? I do, you know, when I'm looking at old footage and think, what made me think that tie was nice? Yeah, what do you mean this tie now? How dare you? This is a nice tie. Seriously though, you do, don't you? Or you think, you know, you did your hair a certain way, or you had a jacket or something, you think, oh, I look really smart in that. When you get it back, you think, wow, what was I thinking there? Must have had a bit of a relapse or something. It's a bit like something that becomes iconic, because this did become iconic. No two ways about it. Talking, of course, about Liz Hurley's Versace dress. Now, what apparently happened, according to the stylist personal shopper at Selfridges, Dean Aslett, who had literally styled many, many people, from Dame Joan Collins, Elton John, you name it, he'd done a lot. What's interesting here, though, is he literally debunks the myth about what exactly happened. You see, Elizabeth Hurley's always said that the dress was delivered in a plastic bag for her to try on, and miraculously, in their tiny flat with no mirror, it fitted. Very Cinderella. Dean's version, the one I believe, is this. Both she and Hugh Grant turned up at Selfridges. Versace were not very keen to loan anything, because they were a big brand at that time. She was a complete unknown actress, and virtually they found this dress and said, well, there's this. They tried it on, literally. Hugh was on a mobile phone, a rare thing at that point, and when she came out, they said, yeah, that's great. They then sent the dress, yes, in a plastic bag, to her flat later on. But she had tried it on, they had adjusted it, she knew exactly where the safety pins were going to go. But apparently, according to Dean, fast forward a few years later, and they bump into each other, and she says, oh, have I met you before? He says yes, and explains where. And at that point, she cut him dead, never to speak to him again. Now, you could say both sides of the story, but which side would you believe? The personal shopper that put it together and would have other people around him? Or Liz Hurley's version, where apparently it just miraculously fitted like Cinderella in a tiny flat in London? And as she put it, a star was born. Funny how celebrities always can't seem to have a, well, shall we say, an attachment to reality. You agree? As ever, let me know what you think to this particular story in the comments below. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.